I think it's quite hard to describe because it's unlike anything that I've ever been part of, really, because it's such a strange movie. It's kind of real, and it's spooky, and it's a psychological horror, but it works on a sort of number of levels, really. And there's a sort of element of sort of mystery and fantasy to it, but it's also rooted in very real psychological. It's grounded, so I think it's quite an original movie. It's nearly always the same as a script, really. You get sent a script, and I was sent this script, and I really loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very well written. I thought it worked on a number of levels. I found it sort of disturbing and strange and pretty unique, really. So, no, I was excited by it. I found it very intriguing and scary the first time I read it. I was like, wow, where is this going? From the minute it starts, there's something unnerving about it. And very cinematic, you know. I think it plays it really lends itself to, you know, it's a very visual script. When you read the script, you feel that you can sort of see it. So I think it'll be a very original movie. I wasn't at all, no. I hadn't seen these films, so obviously the first thing I did is went out and get Intacto, and 28 weeks later, and I genuinely love them both. So once I'd seen those films, I was very excited about meeting him and talking to him and doing this film, because I think they're both seriously good films, and he's a very seriously good film director. Basically, I play the father of Mia, who is being disturbed by something, and then it appears that there actually is somebody sort of stalking her and appearing in her bedroom, and it all gets very scary and very unnerving, and John gets sort of very rattled by it, really. But the film kind of unravels, and you begin to reveal things about him and his past that relate to what's going on, really. From the first time that I sat in a room and worked with her, with Juan Carlos, I could tell that she was, you know, a very serious actress. So we did rehearse, and we've talked about it, and we've spent time together, you know, as you would, and I think she's very special. We certainly had rehearsal time, and I read with Ella right from the beginning, and was really impressed with her. I was very excited by her. I think she's a really fine young actress, and she's very mature. It's not really like working with a child, really, because she's very smart and very natural and very real. And so I almost treat working with her like I would the same with anybody else. There's no special compensation needed because she's so young, because she's kind of ahead of her years, really. I think childhood fears are much more intense than adults in a way, because we're that much younger. I think that children have very vivid imaginations, and it's much more real. As we get older, we begin to discern what's fantasy and what isn't, and we know that a bad dream is exactly that. It's a bad dream. We ask questions about why we're dreaming about it and why we're having those thoughts, but we know what it is. But I think for children, it's a much harder thing to separate that, and that it's all much more bled into their real lives, because for them it is real, because they haven't yet learned to differentiate what is freaking them out from, you know, what is real about it and what isn't. I know because I've got two girls, and I've seen this with them. I've seen them have nightmares. I've seen them get disturbed and fearful of things, and it's kind of out of proportion. But to them, it is in proportion. It's very real. It's you know, it's as extreme as they feel it. You know, however real or not it is irrelevant if they're feeling it that strongly. So, you know, I think this film's very much about that kind of, you know, intense feeling of your fears. The theme of this movie, to a certain extent, is the way we pass on as parents our fears onto our kids. I also think there is an element that, you know, you kind of, you know, you bring your own fears as well. It's a kind of, you know, but I do think that it is important for a parent to try and create a very safe environment for a child. I think one of the the biggest challenges and the most important thing you do as a parent is create a safe place. Fears come about from feeling unsafe. You know, we get scared if we don't feel we're on solid ground, and I think one of the key aspects of being a parent is to create an environment where they feel safe and relaxed, so they don't feel fearful. And when they do, you deal with it in such a way that relaxes them, and they feel confident. And I think certainly when my kids were young, it felt that seemed to be one of the most important things a parent can give to a child, is a feeling of security and safety, so that their attacks of fear are less and less intense.